Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the V-TUF V7 pressure washer, which is their top of the range machine from their domestic range. But let's first see how it arrived after ordering, then I'll cover unboxing, any assembly required before I actually get to test the machine itself. So let's make a start. Now before I talk about what's actually written on the packaging itself, you can see here this box has had its fair share of bumps and knocks. Hopefully it's done its job and the contents inside aren't damaged in any way. The front cover shows that it's got a brushless induction motor, a foam cannon is included, it's got a turbo nozzle and it supports a max pressure of 195 bar. This side shows a picture of the back of the pressure washer, what accessories and parts are included and some of the technical specifications of this machine. The rear shows the same as the front. And this side shows the same as the other side. I've just moved the box onto the floor to make it easier to lift out the pressure washer. Now this seal was actually broken when it arrived, so I'm hoping nothing's missing from inside the box. There's a snow foam cannon, the turbo nozzle and hosepipe connector, a little accessory holder, the lance, and it's got one of the nozzles already attached. The trigger gun, that looks pretty good. And then finally, the operator manual, and this is a needle for cleaning out the foam cannon nozzle if it gets blocked. You can see here it sits in a little cardboard tray which protects the bottom of the pressure washer from any damage. The snow foam bottle has markings up the side in millimetres and fluid ounces. They range from 100 to 750ml in 100ml increments. You twist the nozzle tip to adjust the fan blades from fully open to fully closed with a quarter turn, although I'm not sure why it allows you to turn it another 90 degrees after that. The pickup valve on the top is also a quarter turn from min to max. The bottle needs a quarter turn to unlock it from the foam head. The pickup tube is already attached. It doesn't have a filter on the bottom, but the design of the tip prevents it from sealing against the inside of the bottle. The trigger gun looks well built. I like this small detail where you can see the lance running through the casing. The high pressure connector has a metal gauze stuck inside to prevent debris from getting into the gun. The handle feels comfortable to use and includes a child lock to prevent the trigger from being pressed. The end of the gun rotates, allowing you to angle the lance, and the mechanism feels very smooth. This connector has a rubber O-ring to hopefully create a watertight seal between the gun and lance. The lance has a bend towards the end which should help angle the spray when cleaning driveways and patios. The quick release connector feels robust and the nozzles are easily removed and inserted. I'll attach the lance now. I'm using an adjustable spanner which is set to about 22mm wide. You can see here, rotating the trigger gun tip allows me to point the nozzle towards the floor. The hosepipe connector comes with a rubber washer with a domed metal gauze inside to keep debris out of the pressure washer. The turbo nozzle has the usual offset orifice inside the tip with a ball bearing inside which allows it to do its thing when in use. Now let's take a look at the pressure washer unit itself. I'll start by removing this plastic bag. Looks pretty good in dark grey with the yellow accents. It's got a hose reel on top with a folding handle and a yellow 10m high pressure hose. The power switch is offset to the side with the low pressure water inlet connector at the bottom. The handle is retractable using the button located in between the power cord and holds up to 4 of the supplied nozzles. The power cord is held in place with rotatable plastic ears, then towards the bottom is a large inbuilt chemical dispenser. The wheels are also wrapped in rubber which is helpful for moving it around. The accessory holder simply slots and clips into place. Remove the blanking cap to install the hosepipe connector, which feels like it only needs to be hand tight. Then the hose reel handle just folds out like so. The hose for the trigger gun slots into the connector and is then hand tightened to lock it in place. The nozzles are held in place by these rubber slots. This button extends the handle, which makes it easier to manoeuvre. Rotating the ear allows you to quickly remove the power cord, which is a design often found on corded vacuum cleaners. The chemical bottle can be removed to fill it. It has millimetre measurements starting at 200mm, then 600, 1000 and 1200. The pickup tube has a gauze filter and similar pickup design to the foam cannon. There doesn't appear to be a way of disconnecting this pickup hose or switching it off if you don't intend to use it. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut for packing away the power cord. The main lance slots into the largest hole in the accessory holder, with the tip sitting in the base of the unit like so. The snow foam cannon can also slot into one of the smaller holes like this. The turbo nozzle, however, doesn't appear to have a home. If one of these holes was made slightly smaller, everything could have been stored on the unit itself, which looks like a minor oversight. Minor observation, the power switch doesn't feel as positive when switching it on as it does when switching it off. However, if you do it a bit quicker, you don't notice it. And here's the unit, fully built, ready for its first use. To prime the pressure washer pump after unboxing, first ensure there is no air in the hose pipe, otherwise it will take longer to clear any air from the pump. Now connect the hose. Next, plug the power cord into a socket. Remove the lance from the holster and pull the trigger. And then realise you've forgotten to turn on the tap like I just have. After ensuring the tap is on, pull the trigger and hold until water starts to trickle. Actually, removing the nozzle will speed up this process. Once it stops spluttering and you have a constant flow, power up the pressure washer and repeat until water coming out of the pressure washer doesn't look milky from all the tiny air bubbles in it. And that's all there is to it. It's now ready for use. I just noticed when manoeuvring it around that the handle has a little play in it, which you can see here. However, this is more of an observation and doesn't actually affect functionality. This nozzle holder is really handy, although I'm not sure why it has only been designed to hold 4 of the 5 supplied nozzles. I'm now going to test all of the nozzles before using the pressure washer. The red 0 degree nozzle maxes out at 1600 psi on the gauge at 2370 watts. The yellow 15-degree nozzle maxes out at 1525 psi at 2200 watts. The green 25-degree nozzle maxes out at 1600 psi and 2250 watts. The white 40-degree nozzle is 1600 psi and 2250 watts again. The black sprinkler nozzle doesn't register pressure at the outlet and is consuming 1080 watts. The pressure washer also uses 1080 watts when no nozzle is attached. And the turbo nozzle maxes out at 1100 psi at 1830 watts. You can see here when unravelling the high pressure hose that it binds about halfway through. There are brackets inside the barrel which look like they are designed to hold the hose in situ, however these also stop the hose from fully unravelling without intervention. The hose looks to be coiling a little too, although that might be down to the hose being new and today being about 5 degrees. You can see here it's not kinking, which is really good, and it's a very tight loop, but it does retain its shape for a while before it flexes back. With it fully unwound, you can see it reaches all around the car without having to move the unit during use. Now I'll test how easy it is to wind back up. You can see here the handle is folding back up as I encounter resistance, which isn't helpful. Despite the rigidity of this hose, it's winding up okay, although this pressure washer would definitely benefit from a more supple hose. My go-to snow foam is Built Hamber Touchless, which uses a panel impact ratio or PIR calculation to ensure consistent results. To work out the PIR, you first need to fill the container with water, then empty it using the pressure washer to find the total amount of water dispensed. One thing I find counterintuitive is that normally you twist it clockwise to lock, whereas in this, clockwise unlocks it. Before I start, I'm making sure that the valve is set to max pickup and that the fan blades are fully open. This appears to be emptying very slowly. I'm going to try turning it all the way to minimum just in case the labelling on the pickup valve is back to front. Nope, that doesn't appear to be draining any quicker. Let me try the other way again. It still seems really slow. I'm going to remove the bottle so I can see how fast bubbles are moving up the pickup hose for both min and max pickup. I can see it working and max is the correct position for the valve, so let me reset this test and start again. Now with the bottle top back up, let's see how long it takes. This Maguire's bucket holds 20 litres. So that, at the moment, is about 250 ml, maybe a little bit less. Now with all of the snow foam cannons I've tested in the past, on maximum pickup they usually last around 60 to 100 seconds before a similar sized bottle empties, so this foam cannon is setting new records.
Now I can see here the straw's at the back, and when I've got it tilted like this it's going to run out, so I'm just going to try and position it so that it's at the front, and then we can carry on this test. Now we've got about 240 mil remaining. Now I'm just going to measure this to see the exact amount it's going to be. So this bucket's got 10 litre measurements inside it. Oh, that didn't work. That's 9.5, but I suppose considering what I spilt, that's probably another 10 litres. Let me see if I can bend this straw to the front. Help it pick up. There's a little bit left in the bottle, but I just can't get it to pick it up with the angle. Although it's still...
Now because this is taking so long to empty, the angle of the straw in the bottle is a factor when I have it angled towards the floor. I've bent it forwards, which should hopefully negate this issue. So that took 60 litres in total. I'll multiply 60 by 1000 to get it in millilitres. 60,000 multiplied by 2% equals 1200. Now considering the bottle can only hold 750 ml, this means I need a concentration which is 1.6 times stronger than what Built Hamber supply. Because this isn't possible, and for the interest of finding out, I'm just going to try adding Built Hamber neat to see what happens. Which brings me on to the next issue. This bottle has a really narrow fill-in neck, which means I need to use a funnel to pour in the snow foam solution. I'm only putting in a couple of 100 millilitres for this test, because considering it took nearly over 9 minutes to empty the bottle, I only need a couple of minutes run time to cover the car in foam. You can see here how long it is taking the cannon to pull foam from the bottle. That was about 14 seconds. This is definitely not foam, it looks more like milk. I'm trying to adjust the fan to give it the best possible chance to work, but this is no good. This foam cannon has failed the test.
Now I was just pulling the cord through to get it out of the machine, and I've just noticed I've snapped that and it seems to catch on here, so if you're not careful, let me show you. There's another one down here. If you're not careful when you're pulling it, if it tucks into there, it's bending it and or locking it.
I contacted V-TUF after getting this far in filming, and they said I should get better results with their tufWash product, so here it is. This is a concentrated formula which can be diluted, but considering the pickup rate of the cannon, I will be trying this neat. They also sent me their tufFoam cannon, which is aimed to compete against products used by professional detailers. The box is compact and shows a picture of the foam cannon along with use cases and features. This side lists the same features described on the front, the back is a duplication of the front, and this side is the same as the other side. The box is sealed with clear sellotape. Inside, there's the foam cannon head assembly, the pickup tube, and the foam cannon bottle. This has the tufFoam logo down the side with a view window up the side of the bottle. It has a screw cap which is handy for storing solution if you don't use it all in one go. Measurements start at 100ml and go up to 750ml in 50ml increments. The head assembly looks robust, but why is this logo upside down? The fan blade's fully shut and it takes a quarter turn to go from fully open to fully closed. The pickup adjustment valve takes half, 1, 1.5, 1.5 turns from min to max. It has the option to change the orifice nozzle, although there is no information about the size of the installed orifice nozzle and there are no additional or spare parts in the box. The pickup hose has a plastic filter on the end with notches around the rim to prevent it sticking to the bottom of the bottle. There's a barbed connector on the head assembly that the pickup hose slots onto. This is stiff and I'm not actually able to push it all the way on, but equally it won't be coming back off either. It takes half, 1, 1.5 turns to screw the head onto the bottle. One frustrating point is that this foam cannon doesn't come with a 1/4 inch quick connector standard, even though all the other pressure washer attachments use them. Fortunately, I can borrow one from another foam cannon I have. And this being upside down shouldn't have gotten through quality control. Although it is purely cosmetic, it's only going to bug me if I don't sort it now. There's a couple of plastic tabs holding it on. I'm trying to be careful so not to snap them. And this is what hides under the fan blade cover. That's better. Now let's try the built hammer test again. I'm first going to remove the screw cap because it's getting in the way. It threads on and off, so I can always reattach it if I change my mind. Now I'll fill it up with water. The clear window on the side of the bottle makes it easy to show how much liquid is inside. Before I start the test, I'm making sure the fan blades are fully open and the pickup valve is set to maximum to ensure flow isn't restricted. Straight away I can tell this is working much better than the other foam cannon. The black pedestal around the base of the bottle makes it more difficult to see how much is left in the bottle, but in reality this only affects me when trying to conduct this test. That took 1 minute 29 seconds to fully empty the 750ml bottle. And in total it dispensed 10 litres. 10 multiplied by 1000 converts our unit into millilitres. 10,000 multiplied by Built Hamber's 2% concentration ratio is 200, so I need to fill 200ml into the bottle, topped up with 550ml of water. Not to reiterate the point, but a tiny bottleneck makes it very hard to fill without the use of a funnel. That's 200ml of snow foam solution, so I'll now top it up with water. Now, as well as testing the tufFoam cannon, I'm also going to test the included cannon with the tufWash solution. So let's first see how the foam cannons benchmark. You can see the included foam cannon is running about 1400 psi when connected to this gauge. The V-TUF tufFoam cannon is running just over 1000 psi. I've got 200ml of tufWash undiluted in the included foam cannon on the left, so we can see how it compares to the tufFoam cannon with Built Hamber on the right. It does look a little thicker than my first attempt using Built Hamber, but it's still running off quickly. I'd say it's less milk and more milkshake now. Let's see how the tufFoam cannon does. Now that's more like it. That's proper shaving foam style foam. I'm not going to test the tufWash in the tufFoam cannon. I plan on testing tufWash in another video. For now, I just want to see how well the foam dwells on the car. It's covering the paint for a long time, which is really good. I'll now get the rest of the car covered. This foam cannon has worked well and covered the car in a nice thick foam. You can see here there's a little left in the bottle, so the capacity is fine for covering the whole car in foam without having to refill it. The pressure washer has also done a good job of rinsing and clearing nearly all of the dirt off the paintwork. To test the turbo nozzle, I'm going to see how it cleans some of these patio slabs. I'll quickly shift the pots out of the way first. Wow, this is making light work of cleaning the slabs. I don't need to get really close and it's removing dirt quickly. I could have the whole path cleaned in no time at this rate. The soil from where the pots sit has stained the patio slab, so the pressure washer isn't going to be able to remove that. As you can see here, it's done a great job of cleaning them and took less than a minute to clean about 2 square meters. Once you've finished with the pressure washer, switch it off at the unit, then turn off the water supply. You don't want to leave it pressurised as this puts unnecessary strain on internal parts whilst not in use. Release any pressure between the unit and the lance, Now remove the hose pipe from the pressure washer and reel in the high pressure hose. Finally, place the lance into the holster and it's all done. So to conclude, the high pressure hose isn't ideal. It coils in cooler temperatures, and mine even had a little split in the outer insulation where it connects to the hose reel. V-TUF did say they are working on a more suitable design, so hopefully the improved hose will already be included by the time you watch this video. The supplied foam cannon needs more work. The pickup hose in the bottle doesn't pull up enough liquid to create an ideal snow foam mixture, and even when tested with V-TUF's purpose-built concentrated solution, it still didn't produce adequate foam. The V-TUF tufFoam cannon, however, was much better, and that produced a nice thick foam. The nozzle holder should also be able to hold all of the included nozzles, although the black nozzle is pointless, so technically it doesn't really matter. The accessory tray looks like it should be able to hold the included turbo nozzle, but the holes are too big for that to slot in place. The brackets on the inside of the hose reel need a rethink. These were repeatedly trapping the hose when unwinding, which meant I needed to walk back to the machine to free it. On one occasion I accidentally snapped one of the brackets after pulling on the hose and not realising it was trapped. The hose reel has a tendency to fold in on itself when winding the hose back in. I don't see a benefit of it being able to fold, and I think it would actually improve usability if it didn't do this. Threading the long lance through the hole can be fiddly. I think it would be easier and faster having a holster that it clips into from the front. Something similar to this placed around here. All things considered, this feels like a solid pressure washer with some great features. The water pump sounds smooth and solid, it's a nice design on the outside and it's easy to move about. I also like that it's using standardised 1/4 inch quick release connectors, which means you can use aftermarket products without having to buy adapters. The trigger gun is easy and comfortable to use, and the power of the pump with the supplied nozzles means this can tackle practically any job you can throw at it. And at just over £300, I think it's great value for money. Well guys, if you've got any questions which I didn't cover in the video, please let me know in the comments and I'll respond as soon as I can. Also, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to give it a like. It really helps me to make other videos like this in the future. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.